Welcome, Adam Makos.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I'm proud to introduce to you 5 soldiers who, by the account of their peers, by the account of the history books, were among the greatest soldiers to wear the uniform of the United States Army. Now, who were the Band of Brothers paratroopers? They were the citizen soldiers of Easy Company, the company that jumped behind German lines on D-Day, that fought along Hell's Highway in Holland, that held the frozen lines at Bastogne, and that pushed the Germans back into the Rhineland, and eventually they captured the Eagle's Nest. According to Stephen Ambrose, who wrote the book Band of Brothers, at the peak of its effectiveness, Easy Company was as good as any rifle company there was in the world. Now, while the appeal to the Band of Brothers may lie in their prowess as soldiers and their accomplishments as soldiers, I hope today you'll walk away with an appreciation for their value as people. These men served their country 60 years ago, and they have not stopped doing so. I've been fortunate to accompany them. Bill and Babe, we went to Germany together to visit troops of the 1st Armored Division. In the middle of December, these men packed up from Philadelphia, flew there to entertain the troops, to sign autographs. The gentlemen on my right, some of them went to Germany. Others, this past February, we went to Korea, to Japan, to Hawaii, to visit the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines there. These men served their country during World War II, and they haven't stopped doing so today. It's a great example for all of us. So now I'd like to introduce to you the men who formed this elite company of light airborne troops. First, I'd like to start with a gentleman from Burlington, Washington. You know him as Lieutenant Lynn Buck Compton. Buck, could you please stand up? Next, joining us today from South Philadelphia, not just Philadelphia, South Philly, Staff Sergeant Wild Bill Guarnere. Now, Bill doesn't travel much without his partner in crime, also from South Philadelphia. I'd like to introduce PFC Edward Babe Heffron. Joining us from Portland, Oregon, traveled quite a way to be with us, Sergeant Donald Malarkey. And lastly, from Pueblo, Colorado, Sergeant Earl One Lung McClung. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the gentlemen on our panel will share some of their stories from different chapters in their history. We're going to start out with their training at Toccoa, Georgia, that occurred in 1942. We have a video clip, actually, to introduce this, so if we could roll that, please.
Executive Officer, congratulations. Thank you, sir. And as a test of your organizational skills and command potential, I am designating you mess officer for 14 days. Report to the mess kitchen at 0515 hours, company breakfast to be served at 0600. Yes, sir. Oh, and Dick, there's rain forecast tomorrow, so the company will have a light afternoon of lecture and classroom instruction. I think a special meal before their afternoon off would be a welcome change of pace. Would you agree? Yes, sir. I like spaghetti. More coming. These guys are fucking it away.
This stuff is orange. Spaghetti ain't supposed to be orange. This ain't spaghetti. This is army noodles with ketchup. You ain't gonna eat it. Oh, come on, Gonorrhea. As a fellow Italian, you should know that all this crap spaghetti is never sin.
They want it on.
No, I'm eating here.
Hey, Dad! Orders changed! Get up! Lectures are canceled! Easy Company is running up Currahee! Move! Move!
son! What? Did you finish? You do not deserve to get your wing. Sergeant Rangelman, you look tired. There's an ambulance waiting for you at the bottom of the hill. It can all be over right now. No more pain. No more Currahee. No more Captain Sobel. Pull upon the risers. We fall upon the grass. We never land upon our feet. We always hit our ass. Mighty, mighty, Christ almighty, who the hell are we? Damn, damn, goddamn, we're one infantry. Fall upon the risers, we fall upon the grass. We never land upon our feet, we always hit our ass. Mighty, mighty, Christ almighty, who the hell are we?
To ask the gentlemen of our panel who were trained at Toccoa, Georgia, could you share with the audience some stories or anecdotes from your time at Camp Toccoa or your time elsewhere in training?
Don, start up, will you? Wake up! Wake up, you dirty rat!
Story about training?
He was there.
Do I use this thing?
Maybe forgot he was even there.
When I arrived in Toccoa, it was the first week of September 1942. I came into Toccoa with a shipment of guys out of Ohio. A soldier named Bob Rader, another one named Don Hubler, and Shep Howell. The three of us ended up in Toccoa at the same time. I was put in a tent with 5 or 6 guys who were getting kicked out at Toccoa. And for a day and a half, all I heard was they wouldn't give me a chance. They kicked me out. I did this, and then talking about the mountain. It scared the hell out of me. And so I was taken up to E Company, and I set up a cot at the end of the barracks. And when I got through, the sergeant said, "Put your shaving gear up on a shelf." So I put my shaving gear up on the shelf, and I'm looking at a picture of a pretty girl with a picture taken at Wilson Studio, Astoria, Oregon, where I'm from. I knew a lot of girls, but I didn't know this one. And so the troops came in from the field, from the practicing and whatnot, and so I asked the guy next to me, I said, who's that picture up there belong to? And the guy said, it's mine, it's my sister. I said, well, you're not from Astoria, are you? And he said, no, I'm from Milwaukee, right across the river. His name was Rod Bain. He's a retired teacher and administrator up in Anchorage, Alaska, now, still alive. And so I started questioning about this damn mountain, these guys that scare the hell out of me. And so we went to dinner and came back, and I'm still yakking to these guys. The guy next to him was a soldier named Tom Burgess, who was from Centralia, Washington. And so I have 2 guys right close to my home that I'm next to. So I finally yacked to enough about Currahee Mountain that I said, put your trunks on, we'll run you up there. So the very first night I'm there, after they'd already run it once that day, these 2 guys take me up the mountain to make sure that I'd be tough enough to do it. And I didn't run it quite as good as they did, but I did very well with it. So they said, you won't have any trouble. That was my baptism of fire in Toccoa. And if you were going to survive it in that company under Captain Sobel, you had to run that mountain.